Welcome to our daily Forex market analysis, and this is for trading on October the 1st, 2019. Just a quick disclaimer here before we get started. This is for educational purposes only. Trading is a risky business, so please be careful with your money. As usual, we'll start off by taking a look at our calendar here. So in terms of our news, we have coming up here in just a bit, we have Australian news here. We have building approvals out of Australia as well as the cash statement here. So this one is important because monetary policy these days is changing. As we can see, they are lowering the rate. So rate is supposed to drop here, and that would be negative for Australian dollar. Now, there is some expectation already built in, but if their statement is more dovish, then we could see a further drop. Now, on the other hand, if they do not cut the rates, that could have a positive impact on Australian dollar, and we're likely to see Australian dollar go up in that case because market is expecting an interest rate cut, and if you don't get that, currency Australian dollar is likely to go up. So excuse me, coming up here on Tuesday, we have RBA Governor Lau speaking. Other than that, we have a PMI data out of the Eurozone. So even though this is marked as yellow, we are likely to see an impact of this. So right now, euro has been down, and if the PMI numbers come in below expectations, we could see euro take a hit as a result of that as well. And a bunch of FOMC members speaking here actually, and with President Trump looking for Fed to cut rates, and the market expecting interest rate cuts from the Fed, what these members have to say will be important and could have an impact on the US dollar. So keep an eye on what kind of comments we see out of these Fed members. We also have PMI numbers here for the US. So again, PMI numbers, leading indicators, they are very important. We need to keep an eye on them. If they are lower than expected here, then we could see US dollar drop as a result. But that's pretty much it. We have consumer confidence numbers out of Japan. So we'll take a look at those in our call tomorrow. But that's it in terms of what we have coming up. Now, of course, we are into October here, so we have to keep an eye on what's going on with Brexit, any new developments in regards to Brexit, anything that is positive and talks about extension, that would be good for the British pound. But if there are concerns in regards to reaching a deal or moving forward with Brexit, that could have a negative impact on British pound. So that's another thing to keep in mind. So let's go on to our charts here. As usual here, we'll start off with euro dollar. So euro here did a nice back test. And we have a nice bearish engulfing candle close here. Price has been holding below this 1.09560 level, this previous support resistance. For the last 3 days, price has held below this level. So bias here is to the downside. So bearish bias. Now we could get a pullback into 1.0925. But overall bias is to the downside, and I would be looking for price to drop further here. In terms of our target, so bias is to the downside, bearish bias. And in terms of our target here, we are looking at first target of 1.0860. And then 1.0820. So bias is to the downside for euro dollar and targets to the downside. So 1.0860 and 1.0820 are the two targets. So bearish there. Pound is also looking bearish here. So as we can see, price is holding below this previous support resistance level here. It did a test and then stayed low. So today we have a doji here. So a big rejection pin on the upside, which shows that we're likely to see a drop in this as well. But do expect some volatility from pound, just because it is any Brexit related stuff can move this. All right, so in terms of the targets here, I'm looking at 1.2200 as the first target, this next support and resistance level. And below that, we are into 1.2150. So 1.2200 and 1.2150. Those are the two targets to the downside here. Aussie here. Okay, so looking at the daily chart here, Aussie is holding sideways. It is holding below this previous support resistance level, but still sideways. So today's candle close here is bearish. So I will look for a further drop here. So as long as price stays below 0.6780, this level here, we are looking for a drop. So bias is to the downside. First target is 0.6700 and then 0.6680. So bearish bias for Aussie dollar as well. New Zealand dollar here, this one as well, we have seen a drop. It is into support, so just need to be mindful of that. Bias is bearish. We need to see a break here, and target is 0.6180 as the first target here. So bearish bias for New Zealand dollar as well. But just be careful that if it doesn't break through here, it could go up. For now, though, this looks bearish. Dollar CAD here, this one has been going sideways for some time here. And as such, it's a neutral candle close for today. Overall is neutral as well, just range bound at the moment between 1.3300 and 1.3200. Today's candle close is completely neutral, so bias is neutral for dollar CAD. Now let's take a look at our silver here. Silver, big drop here. Our bias was bearish, and we have seen a nice big drop here. So bias stays to the downside, and next target here would be 16.80, and then below that 16.50. So bearish bias here for silver. We could see a pullback into 17.20, so keep an eye on that. But bearish bias here for silver. Next target 16.80 and then 16.50. Gold as well, bearish here. It's broken through the support level. So looking for it to drop further. 1452 is the next target, and then 1436 is the target below that. In terms of pullback, 1482 looks like a good place for a pullback. So we could get a move like this. So bearish bias here for gold as well. Oil here, oil's looking weak as well. We have seen that break through the support that we talked about previously. So bias is to the downside. Again, we could get a pullback into 54.70 level. But as long as it stays below, I'm looking for price to drop further. 52.80 is the next target for oil. So we're looking for price to get back into the support level. So bearish bias for oil. Copper here, this one is looking bearish as well. Now it's back into the support. So last time we saw that price had bounced off of this support level. Now it's back into it. So it's holding below this previous resistance level. So there's more downward pressure in copper as well. We do need to see a break of the support. Otherwise, price could just turn around the way it did previously here. So we need to see a drop and then pull back and a hold below 2.53 for it to continue lower. Next target is a 2.49. So bearish bias here for copper as well. And Bitcoin here, Bitcoin is holding a little bit here. It's bouncing off of the support. So it has a little bit pull. So I would look for a pullback here. Next target is 87.50. And then we could see a drop from there. So I'm looking more for a pullback rather than getting completely bullish on Bitcoin. So for now, slightly bullish bias, just looking for a deeper pullback. Overall, though, the trend is to the downside. So this is likely to turn still. So just in the interim, I will look for a slight move higher into 87.50. S&P 500 here, this one has bounced up a bit. Now it's at an interesting level here. So this is, as we can see here, price had trouble here before. So I would look for price to move higher here into that resistance level at 229.90. If it doesn't go through, price could drop further. So keep an eye on this one. It has pulled back up. So we do have a bullish candle close for the day, but I think we could see things turn here. If it doesn't go above 29.90, we can see a drop, but should it cross that, then there's more room to the upside and we could see it go into 3,000 and then 30.20. For now though, I would keep an eye on 29.90. If it stays below, I will look for a drop back towards 29.40 here. So I'm neutral on S&P 500, even though we have a bullish candle close. I am not, it does not look heavily bullish at this moment, so I'm neutral. NASDAQ here, this one is also, we have a bullish candle close, but we are right into this resistance here. So I would be cautious with this one as well, but there is more room to the upside here. Price could go into 78.20. So keep an eye on that. So I would say bullish bias for this one, but with caution. If it stays below 78.20, I'm looking for price to drop and towards 76.40. So for this one as well, my bias is slightly to the upside. Next one here, we have DAX. This one, we have a bullish candle close. This one could go higher. So I would say bias is bullish towards 12,500. And that's where we could see price turn if it does. But for now, looking for price to go higher into 12,500. So bullish bias for DAX as well. FTSE here, FTSE is neutral because I think this one could turn. We are right into this resistance level here. Price has a big pin, again, a big pin here. So I think this one could drop towards 73.65 area. So I will look for price to drop a bit here. My bias is neutral. This one is not, it's not heavily bearish either, but it's not heavily bullish either. So neutral bias for FTSE as well. Basically, we're looking for market to turn potentially. Nikkei here, this one's looking bullish here for the day. So we have a bullish candle close. I will look for price to go further, up further here towards 21,980 level. And if it gets through that towards 22,160 here. But for now, bias is bullish for Nikkei. And there was a question around pullback level for dollar CAD. Dollar CAD, I believe I was neutral on. So I would look for essentially the high of today's candle, 1.3260. So I would look for price to push into that level. If it doesn't go through, then we could see the price move back. But my bias is neutral here. I think this one's still trading in this range between 133 and 132. So I'm just expecting it to stay range bound for now. So neutral bias here, but watch out for 1.3260 level. This has important support resistance here. Price has reacted to this level several times. So this is where we could see price reject again, just like it did today. And if that happens, then I would look for a move towards 1.3200. All right, so we will wrap it up here. Have a wonderful trading day, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye for now.